The Indiana Fever president is in full-blown panic mode after Caitlin Clark exposed her in front of the entire league. Fans are stunned and the backlash is growing by the hour. But hold up, this isn't just about one press conference or a viral clip. There's way more to the story and I've got all the details. Things just took a nasty turn inside the Indiana Fever's front office and Caitlin Clark's fans are not staying quiet. The rookie who's been packing arenas and single-handedly turning the WNBA into must-watch TV is now facing shade from her own team president. Yep, Kelly Kroskow dropped a line so tone-deaf it sent shockwaves through the fan base. We want the Fever to be like Apple, a weird flex, especially when it sounds like she's calling Clark the iPhone case instead of the iPhone. Let's not sugarcoat this. Caitlin is the reason the Fever are relevant. Her presence has boosted ticket sales by 400%, merchandise by 600%, and TV ratings by 800%. But instead of celebrating that, the team's top execs seem more interested in downplaying her impact. Fans weren't having it. Social media blew up with backlash, calling the comment out for what it was. Disrespect, plain and simple. And then Kroskow pulled a disappearing act. Her ex account vanished overnight. No apology, no clarification, just gone, like she knew she messed up and hoped logging off would erase the heat. But it's too late for that. The internet never forgets, and neither do Fever fans. Welcome to it, right here. You know someone's feeling the heat when they nuke their social media in the middle of a scandal. That's exactly what happened after the now infamous Apple comment went viral, and not in the way anyone hoped. Fans didn't hold back. The second the clip started circulating, Clark's supporters swarmed X like bees on a dropped soda, calling out the president for trying to reduce Caitlin Clark, the literal engine of the WNBA's current relevance, to a generic product in a business metaphor. The account disappeared Friday night without explanation, no statement, no cleanup attempt, just poof. And that silence said more than any PR memo ever could. Fans weren't just disappointed, they were livid. We're talking about season ticket holders, diehards who've been rocking Fever gear through losing seasons and now they feel betrayed. They're watching their team's front office actively fumble the moment they've all been waiting for. What's worse, this came on the heels of weeks of watching Clark get knocked around game after game, with questionable officiating becoming a pattern, and now her own president can't even acknowledge her value without making it about the brand. Please, the fans saw right through it. It's not just bad optics anymore, but a full-blown trust crisis. And the Fever's front office just lit the match. And then came Sophie Cunningham. But before we go into that, hit that like button if you think Caitlin's getting targeted on purpose. Drop a comment if you think the refs are just blind. And yeah, smash that subscribe button. Things are only getting messier from here. Sophie Cunningham, the self-declared bodyguard of Caitlin Clark, the unofficial vice president of Try That on Our Court and You'll Get Dropped. And she just torched the league with words. On the first episode of her podcast, Show Me Something, Sophie went full scorched earth. Her monologue, raw, unfiltered, straight out of a Netflix drama, and her target wasn't just rivals, it was everyone, especially those downplaying Caitlin Clark's impact in the league. You're literally dumb as, she said, not once, not twice, but 3 times. The clip exploded across TikTok, YouTube and X. It's the phrase of the moment. And Sophie knew exactly what she was doing, but she doesn't just talk. This is the same Sophie who recently body-checked a Connecticut Sun player into a different time zone after Clark caught an elbow to the face. She got ejected and she didn't care. I'm going to protect my teammates, she said. That's what I do. But here's where it gets deeper. Sophie didn't just call out opponents or weak officiating. She fired shots at her own squad, the Indiana Fever. She claimed some of the real disrespect toward Caitlin is coming from inside the locker room. Sources close to the team are calling her podcast a declaration of war. That tension fans have been sensing, it's real. The culture clash rocking the WNBA, old school vets versus viral stars, isn't just league-wide. It's brewing right inside Indiana. And Sophie, she's not here to play nice. She's here to blow it all up. Let's just say it. Caitlin Clark is getting hunted on the court. Elbows, body checks, eyes gouged, and the pattern is undeniable. If this were the NBA and someone laid hands on Steph or LeBron like that, there'd be texts, suspensions, and breaking news alerts. But in the W, Clark gets mugged, and it's just play on. Take May 24th. Fever versus Liberty. Clark gets rammed mid-play by Natasha Cloud, shoulder down, obvious contact in a 2-point game. The officials stood frozen like deer in headlights. No call, no replay review. Just Clark with her palms up like, "Are y'all serious right now?" Meanwhile, the buzzer goes off and the Liberty celebrate. Sophie Cunningham didn't hold back. She went scorched earth again, saying there's just more for her. And she's right. The double standard is loud, brutal, and now impossible to ignore. This isn't tough defense, but a targeted chaos. Even some rival players have quietly admitted there's an unspoken agenda. Make her earn it. But that's code for break her before she shines too bright. And that's exactly what's happening. Except Clark won't break. She didn't come to the league for a glorified hazing ritual. She came to dominate. And when officials stay silent, Sophie's out there throwing shoulders and fire on the mic like it's her full-time gig. This isn't just some bad calls. It's becoming a systematic problem. Honestly, it's starting to feel like there's a whole conspiracy going on. If you're still here, you know this story is bigger than basketball. So don't just watch, get in the mix. Like, comment, and subscribe to stay ahead of the spin. The next twist could drop any second. Things are not okay behind the scenes in Indiana. And now this isn't just drama, but full-on war. On one side, you've got the corporate suits trying to mold the Fever into some polished Apple-style brand. On the other, players, fans, and even rival coaches who know the truth. Caitlin Clark is the brand. Period. But here's where it gets icy. The Fever president decided to downplay Clark's impact, and that's when things snapped. Enter Sophie Cunningham, who didn't just disagree. She went scorched earth on her own bosses, and this wasn't some emotional slip-up mid-interview. Nope, insiders say that podcast rant was planned, a calculated strike after hearing the president's comments. Sophie didn't just shade the WNBA, she called out her own front office in public with receipts. That's not frustration, that's rebellion. And honestly, it exposed a major identity crisis inside the franchise. The Fever want to build a dynasty, but they already have the centerpiece. And instead of celebrating her, they're acting like she's a threat. The team is now torn. Some are all in on Caitlin as the future. Others are clinging to old school control. And guess what? The fans aren't blind. Neither is Sophie, and judging by recent events, neither is management. Let's be real. Mind you, without Caitlin Clark, if this was LeBron James getting slammed to the floor after an eye poke, Twitter would melt. SportsCenter would run it on loop. But Caitlin Clark, she gets crunched, and crickets from the league. Imagine Steph Curry getting beat up game after game with zero protection. Would the NBA just shrug it off? Hell no, but that's exactly what's happening to Caitlin Clark. She's not just some rookie, she's the reason people are tuning into women's basketball at all. The ratings, the sold-out arenas, it's all Clark. She's the cash cow generating unprecedented revenue growth across every metric, and somehow she's getting treated like a bench warmer. Sophie Cunningham said it best, unacceptable. Coach Stephanie White hijacked a press conference to call out the inconsistent officiating again and again. The fans see it, the media sees it, but the league, silent. Here's the ugly truth. If Clark were a man, this league would be bowing down. Instead, she's getting shoved around while her own team execs barely lift a finger. Sophie's fighting for her. The fans are fighting for her. But the people who should have her back, they're too busy playing politics. Clark isn't just the future. She's already arrived. The problem is, the old guard's still acting like it's 2010, and they're about to get run over. This isn't just a controversy. It's a reckoning. But here's what nobody's talking about yet. Sources inside the organization are whispering about a meeting that happened behind closed doors just 48 hours ago. Team owners, league officials, and some very powerful people who don't want their names attached to this mess. What was discussed in that room could change everything we think we know about Caitlin Clark's future in Indiana, because this isn't just about one president's comments anymore. This is about whether the WNBA WNBA is ready for its biggest star, or if they're going to tear her down before she can revolutionize the game forever. And what Sophie Cunningham just leaked on her private social media might be the smoking gun that exposes it all. The war for Caitlin Clark's legacy is just beginning, and the next 72 hours could determine whether she becomes the face of a new era or gets buried by the very people who should be protecting her. Trust me, what's coming next will shock you.